Greetings. Hope everyone's well. Let's get straight into the state of the lithium market in particular, and of course, Vulcan Energy, which is, let's say, my main investment in the lithium sphere. So, there's been a lot of news flows recently and a lot of action in the market. Some mines, some production has been taken offline or projected or expected to be taken offline. Um, EV demand continues to grow globally, although there are some regional variations. And that supply demand situation or perceived supply demand situation, as well as the announced reduction in the Fed bank rates, has led to a surge, a short term surge in commodities in particular. Copper, lithium, and other commodities. I've noticed graphite and even the iron ore, etc. And the demand is pretty bullish, or the prices have risen due to bullishness. Now, getting back to how I invest and why I've invested in particular in Vulcan Energy, and there are many reasons, but it's not just based on momentum, although I have been reading recently that being able to invest in line with the momentum is advantageous. But I've taken a slightly different view. I don't disagree with that. I've looked to invest in a good company or a number of good companies with solid long-term prospects where I see them go into production, hopefully. And Vulcan Energy is one of those. So it's been on an interesting journey this year. I mean, it's up over 60% year to date. A lot of announcements, a lot of achievements this year as well, on its way to production. And it's recently announced a further acquisition as opposed to JV with Geox regarding the geothermal wells. That's been welcomed news by the market. However, although Vulcan Energy is also on an upward trend very recently as a result of the news about taking some supply or uneconomic supply off the market, that momentum is good, but I would say Vulcan Energy is one of those that's resilient. It's resilient long term, and it has been, if you've noticed, year to date from the beginning of this year, because it's a company that has a long-term vision. It's heading towards completing project finance and production, and therefore that gives it a sort of resilience. And given the uniqueness about the geothermal, renewable energy, the brines, the DLE, Volsorb, etc., it's almost like Vulcan Energy is establishing a moat for the future, perhaps. Hence, I see potential great company status. So that's just a quick roundup on rationale. I've taken in a lot of information this week and last week, which I'm not going to put out in this recording today. I just wanted to share feelings more than facts with you today. But I've been reading analyses from Citibank. I've been reading analyses from McKinsey on critical minerals. I've been reading analyses and watching podcasts from RK Equity, and all the usual ones that you'll know, Rockstock and all these, what is it, EV Viking, Electric Car Viking. Oh, sorry if I got the name wrong, but anyway, you know what I mean. All of these well-known podcasts and channels that are analyzing the everything from EV demand to lithium demand to grades of lithium, economic versus uneconomic. There's a lot of information out there, but in general, what you see is what is playing out is just the commodity cycle. Low prices are the solution to low prices. So you're getting that eventual rebalancing of supply and demand. And key thing is now the derived demand, the EV demand, the battery energy storage demand, the heavy goods vehicle demand, the shipping demand, possibly aviation demand for electric based mobility, and hence lithium based battery sources is increasing pretty much, rapidly all round based on the figures I've seen. As I said, no figures today. I'm just downloading very quickly what I've read and listened to. And in general, we are getting now a short-term rebalancing of supply and demand. What I expect to happen is that the EV demand and lithium demand continues to ramp up, and then those decisions about increasing production and bringing on new mines and the financing arrangements around that, they will take time. Now, what I've also noticed is that a lithium mine or lithium production is not exactly like a copper mine or copper production, which can take a decade to bring online, and if it's shut in, it's problematic to restart. From what I understand, relatively speaking, whereas lithium, there's a shorter time frame in order to bring production back online, or refinement capacity back online, or to bring new mines online. So I think we are in that cycle, but the cycle's shorter. And I expect now that we will be heading into an upward cycle based on my expectation of a continued ramp up in the end use or the derived demand for battery energy storage technologies and in the various use cases that I've mentioned. So with that in mind, focusing on Vulcan Energy again, it also comes with a lot of milestones. So I haven't chosen Vulcan Energy simply because it's a lithium play. It's because it's a lithium play with all of those factors one looks for in a good company, especially pre-production company. It's implementing a plan. It's got good management in place. It's building its organization out. It's ticking off key milestones with respect to commissioning, with respect to offtake agreements, with respect to key issues regarding project financing. The latest one where I think with the announcement of Geox, there's also an announcement of a working capital arranged with BNP Paribas. I think that's been put in the screen. So you see all of these things, and you think this is smart management. It's good company. It knows the direction. It has a vision, and it's riding that EV and battery energy storage wave. So that's the key focus of why I've invested in Vulcan Energy. Then there's some geopolitics around it. I mean, it's in Europe. The project itself has been submitted to the EU as to gain critical status. So there is that political aspect to it as well, and plus it's ticking boxes on the environmental side of things, which is extremely important, as you've seen with Rio's project in Serbia, which is facing resistance due to the environmental and local issues there. So in short, that's a quick summary. I'm very happy with progress to date, especially this year. It's been a roller coaster. I think I mentioned that I had increased my holdings earlier in the year when there was a general sort of downward trend in the market. I think that was about June or July from memory. I bought a few thousand stocks around 2.70 Australian dollars. More recently, I came in again at around 350 and around 370. So I've been pumping up my holding around 15-20% over the last few weeks compared to what I had. It's my biggest lithium based holding. I have other holdings in other lithium companies, but this one is the one I focus on because it's my key holding, and it's the nearest production company that I have. So that's a quick download of some thoughts. I do want to go into more detail in some of the podcasts and journals and analyses that I've been reading, but I also didn't want to be swayed too much by the short-term momentum. I believe we're in a longer-term energy transition. We're in a longer-term transition, especially in e-mobility, and short-term things may happen, but long-term, that's where we're going. There is a big gap between the lithium production and energy storage demand now compared to what we expect going forwards, 2030, 2035 and beyond. Hence that's the longer term picture that I'm focused upon.